Hi, we're delighted to have Celeste with us from Hamilton Parker Estate Agents. Celeste, why don't you tell us how you got into the estate agency business?
So I started my career back when I was about 18, and I literally fell into the industry. I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do, and I was actually in banking at the time. And a recruitment consultant rang me up on a Friday and said to me, "I've got you an interview at a big corporate estate agency in Southampton." And I said to her, "I'm really sorry, but I've actually accepted another job and I'm due to start at the bank on Monday." And she said to me, "Please, can you go?" She said, "It's just I've worked really hard to get you in, and if you don't go to the interview, I'm going to lose the client." And she'd been so good to me over the weeks when I was looking for a job, I sort of felt obliged to go to this interview just to help her out. So I took time out and I went to this interview, and I came out of there, and she said to me, she phoned me up and she said, "Well, how do you think you got on? What do you think?" I said, "Well, actually, I think it would really suit me. And yeah, I'm really interested." And she said, "Well, good, the job's yours. You can start Monday." So I phoned the bank up on the Monday morning and said, "I'm really sorry, but I'm not going to be coming in. I've accepted something else." And I went to this other job in a state agency, and it went from there. And I've been doing it ever since. I've worked for big corporates and independents along the way. And yeah, absolutely love it. But it wasn't something I sort of planned to do. And I just literally fell into the industry.
Wow.
And that's sometimes such a lovely way to get into something, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't expect.
I think she used to be an ex-estate agent herself, and then she ended up in recruitment, and she obviously just saw something in me that I'd be suited to the industry, persuaded me to go to this appointment. And it's such a shame that I don't keep in contact with her, because I'm actually really grateful to her all those years ago for pushing me into going to that interview, because I wouldn't be here where I am now if it wasn't for her.
Wow. And how long have you been a business owner? So how long has it been your own business?
So as I say, I worked for corporates and independents along the way. And back in 2008, I had my little boy, and I was off on maternity leave. And I always had a desire to have my own estate agency anyway. And it wasn't until my son went to nursery and I went into work, he was 1, and I'd had a year off on maternity leave. And I went to go into work and I cried all the way to work, walked into that office in the morning, and I thought, you know, if I'm missing out on my son and he's going into nursery, I'd rather be doing it for myself and for doing it for us as a family than be doing it for somebody else. So I spent the 3 months literally getting everything geared up, and 3 months later, after me returning to work, I opened up on my own, and that was in 2010.
Wow.
Fantastic.
So how have you been coping during COVID-19? I mean, it's hit a lot of businesses in different ways. How have you and your business coped?
For me, it hasn't really been any different, because about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, I started to look at our business model. The likes of sort of Purple Bricks came into the industry and really shifted the way that estate agents, the way the industry works. And my business was originally on the high street, you know, the 9 to 5, etc. We came off the high street back in 2016, and I launched this model to have home working, self-employed agents working from home. And we were based down on an industrial estate in Romsey as our hub office, if you like, but we work mobile. So for us, we've been working in this way prior to COVID. So when COVID happened and we went into lockdown, we were already working remotely. So it didn't really have an impact on the way that we do business. In fact, actually, it's worked for us because we were 10 steps ahead before everybody else was, if you like. The only thing I would say COVID has done is obviously we haven't been able to go out and do viewings and valuations, etc., where we would still usually go on an appointment. So we have had to do things slightly differently to like we're doing now by way of Zoom and FaceTime. But what I would say is it's actually worked really well. And even though the doors to estate agencies have been allowed back open, we are still doing our business by way of virtual. And I think that it works a lot better with our clients as well, because it's time. People don't have time. So being able to just go home, tap in, not have me walking through the door and having to make me a cup of tea and things like that, just being able to have that appointment to work around you just works so much better.
Yeah, I get it. So I guess the question, I've got a feeling I know what you're going to answer now, but if we went on to lockdown again and we were back to beginning of or middle part of March and it all had a second wave, would you do anything differently?
For us, we actually don't need to. Lockdown has actually been beneficial for my model, the company's model, and the way that we do business, because what I found prior to going into lockdown was trying to get people's mindsets out of that the industry is no longer a 9-to-5 industry. Nobody goes into high street estate agents. If you're looking for a property, you look online. Most of the time when you're looking online of an evening. And the fact that we are mobile and we take calls at 9 o'clock at night when the industry is, when the portals are at their busiest, etc. For us now, I think the general public have started to see that actually you can do business like this. You don't need to be working 5. So lockdown has done my business model, has been beneficial to us. And now we have agents contacting us, wanting to join this scheme, work remotely, work for themselves, whereas before we struggled to recruit because trying to get people out of the traditional way of doing things was very difficult. So in answer to your question, if we went back into lockdown, no, I wouldn't be doing anything differently.
And I guess because and potentially now you're on recruitment, because there'll be freelance people probably wanting to get out there. When you're looking for someone to come into your industry, what attributes, what makes a great person in your industry?
Well, to start with, we need, we're looking for experienced estate agents to come on board. And then obviously, along from that, we're looking for people that may not have experience that we can train. But the main attributes that people need to bring into this industry is really good communication skills, a good work ethic, a people person, somebody that wants to enjoy the rewards from achieving a sale and prepared to put the work. Oh, I lost you there, sorry. And that's prepared the work in. You know, if you're a hard worker and you're a good people person and prepared to put in the hours, then you know that's what we're looking for.
Great.
And how are things now? Has it picked up? People buying, selling? What's it like out there?
Despite what you hear on the media, the property market is actually very, very busy. We have been taking on lots of properties. Properties have been selling. I spoke to our mortgage chap last night and just expressed concern that some of the lenders had pulled the 90% mortgages. He explained that it's because they're so busy, the banks can't even keep up with the mortgage applications going through at the moment. So they're having to pull some of the products, but some of the bigger players are about to come in and release new products. So my thoughts about the property market at the moment is there's a lot of motivation there from buyers and sellers. I think lockdown and this whole COVID thing has actually changed people's views on where they're going, reassessing their lives, and actually kicking people into gear to just get on and do it rather than sitting and waiting around and realizing actually life is quite short. So it's best to make the most of it and just get on with it. So the property market at the moment is thriving.
Fantastic.
Great. And a lot of our economy actually rests on the fact that we have a healthy property market. So that's really good news. And as we're hearing, a lot more people, the home's much more important now. That I think that sort of and maybe even DIY is coming in because everyone's been at home. Fascinating to hear your journey and the success, which is great. So thank you very much, Celeste.
Oh, thank you both. It's lovely to see you.